Hello and welcome to Jill Cameron Creations. Today I am participating in the Save the Crafty YouTuber video hop. This is the third time I'm participating and our sponsor list has grown tremendously. And the purpose of the Crafty YouTuber video hop is to promote card makers and crafters throughout the entire industry and help some of the smaller crafters like myself to grow our YouTube audience and also our blog presence. I am going to be giving away 3 sets of scrapbook.com ink pads. I have the set of 4 of the purple, a set of 4 of the teals, and a set of 4 of the gray and black. To win any prize throughout the event, all you have to do is comment below in the below the video here on YouTube, and you'll be entered in to win prizes. The more you comment, of course, the more opportunity you have to win prizes throughout the entire event. So this goes live on the 25th of March, and then over on Justine Hovey, and thank you very much, Justine, for doing all of this every year for us. It is awesome. Thank you so much. Justine will actually announce all of the winners over on her YouTube and blog post, and she will put that out in April. And I will link to all the dates and everything, and all the links that you need will be below and over on my blog as well. And the products that I'm using in the video today will be linked below. You'll want to subscribe to my YouTube channel and my email list so that you keep up with all of the crafty goodness that's going on at Jill Cameron Creations. Now, let's get to the card. I've talked a lot about the Save the Crafty YouTuber. Let's get to the card here. I'm using some Catherine Pooler products for stamps. This is the first time I'm using any of her products at all, and I have to say that I absolutely loved these stamps and dies that I purchased from scrapbook.com for this event. I absolutely love these stamps and dies. The Mountain of Thanks stamp set and coordinating die set is what I'm using right now. I'm using that, as you saw, with the scrapbook.com ink pads. They're hybrid ink pads. And I'm going to die cut each of these mountains off camera. I'm also using the Retro Star cover plate. I'm not going to die cut it. I am instead going to emboss it on a background panel to give the background some texture. When I die cut stuff, I'm using a Spellbinders Platinum 6 to die cut, by the way. And when I die cut things, I usually like to take a little piece of washi tape and tape them down. It just makes life a whole lot easier. I'm using the sentiments from that stamp set as well, and absolutely just amazing stuff. To cut or to actually emboss a plate like this, I am using the Spellbinder sandwich that's on the platform. I'm putting the die down, the paper on top of it, and then my mat and the embossing plate. It's perfect. It is absolutely perfect. So what I did was then I just adhered this using some liquid adhesive, and I generally do use Nuvo Deluxe adhesive here, and I go ahead and just put some in all of the flat places on the back of that panel and adhered that down to a side folding note card. I wanted this in a landscape instead of in portrait. I test fit my pieces to decide where I wanted them and how I wanted them. How I test fit them actually changed how I wanted the card to go. Initially, I kind of wanted it to look like it was a chain of them going down the card, but I changed it instead and stacked them up like that. I liked it better to stack them instead of looking like a chain going down. I then went ahead and treated a piece of black cardstock with anti-static powder tool, and then stamped my sentiments with sticky Versamark ink and sprinkled that with white detail embossing powder. That's from Hero Arts. And then I'm going to heat set that so that it gets the embossing powder all nice and melty. Make sure that when you are heat embossing that it gets smooth, that there's no like bumps or lumps left in it. if there's bumps and lumps left in it, it's not all the way melted and you still have unmelted embossing powder in your design. So make sure that you're heating it long enough. I have found that I really like the tonic small trimmer there. I do really like that. And I'm going to use some foam tape here to pop up my sentiments on the front of this card. The last thing that I did for this card that you don't see on camera is on all of the mountains, I took a glitter brush pen and went over all of the stamped colored areas on it. And it's really sparkly. You'll see that in the pictures at the end of the video. So now we're going to switch gears completely and I'm going to do kind of an abstract card. When I saw the Shine On Sunflower stamp set, and it has these great big huge flowers in it, I immediately thought that I wanted to do a alcohol ink background for this as the quote leaves of the flowers and just spread flowers all over the front of a panel. And that's exactly what I did. This is just, I immediately saw these huge flowers and thought, oh, that would be so cool to do. So I literally just put blending solution across diagonally across the card panel itself, and this is Yupo paper. It's white Yupo paper, and I just dropped in a whole bunch of different alcohol inks. I used Everglades, Envy, which is a pearl, Mojito, which is a newer one, and Meadow. I also used an alloy, which is a new product by Ranger for the alcohol ink line, and I used this one's Foundry. And obviously I'm using the blower here. This thing is amazing. It changes the way that you do alcohol ink backgrounds. It is truly, truly amazing. Something that I have found that I really, really enjoy doing with alcohol ink backgrounds is leaving white space and that hard line on there. I also am using the blower to dry this. This is really sparkly and really shiny, and the blower enabled me to dry this very, very quickly so that I had the perfect background and the perfect quote leaves for all of my flowers here. I'm going to pull my blending mat out of the way and then I'm going to stamp. I'm using scrapbook.com inks. I'm using the 4 orange and the 4 yellow inks, and I'm just stamping them out here, and I'm on Nina Solar white cardstock. One thing that I did do is pulled out a stamping mat. If you have big solid images such as these, I do recommend for photopolymer stamps that you use a stamping mat under them. It allows the stamp itself to have a little bit of give under it, and you get a better stamped image. It doesn't matter the brand, it doesn't matter any of that kind of thing about photopolymer stamps that have the big area like this, and it doesn't matter the shape of them. A stamping mat is always something really good to have under there. It gives them a little give. And the reason, think about this, on your red rubber stamps, you have that foam padding behind it. It gives that image a little bit of give evenly across the entire surface of that image, and you get a really crisp stamp. Photopolymer stamps are really great in that generally you don't have to do that. But sometimes with more solid images such as these flowers, you need a little bit of give to get a really good impression. So use a stamping mat. I'll link to one in the description below and the products that I use so that you have one in your crafty stash. I definitely recommend those. I have been super impressed by the scrapbook.com inks, how well they blend, how well they even out. As you know, sometimes when you stamp, especially on solid images like this, they're kind of blotchy. The scrapbook.com inks even out on the Nina Solar white paper, and they are amazing. Absolutely love them. As you see, I have a whole bunch of different shaped blocks up here that I'm using, and I just put all of my stamps on all the various blocks. I have a ton of blocks in my stash. Probably the best investment I ever made early on in my stamping career was the scrapbook, not the scrapbook, the Stampin' Up set, the entire set of clear blocks. That's mostly what I use is my Stampin' Up ones. The round ones I did get from scrapbook.com, and I'll link to those below. But if you know a Stampin' Up and demonstrator, I do recommend their blocks. They have great handholds on them, and the actual big set of them, that's the all of them. There's not a size in there that I don't use. I use them constantly. I absolutely love them. Best investment I ever made. All right, so I'm going to place these flowers down, and I'm using some foam tape from scrapbook.com as well, and absolutely love the foam tape. This is a 2-inch wide. They have a 1-inch wide. They have the little skinny strips of it. You can buy foam tape from scrapbook.com in just about anywhere, any shape, any size that you want to, even sheets of it. I use it all the time. Amazing stuff. Peels, the backing peels off super easy too, and it sticks really well. I love it. So this is my card front here panel, and the only thing left on it is to go ahead and do the sentiment, and I used the Catherine Pooler Dream Big set, and to be real honest, I stamped it wrong the first time. I wanted it to say dream big, pray bigger, and I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing, and it actually, when I stamped it right here the first time, it said pray bigger, dream big. Well, that doesn't make any sense. And I went, oh, well, that's wrong. So I like including mistakes in my videos as well, so you can see it. And here I'm just trying to find another piece of paper that's going to work for me, and it didn't. I just pulled out another piece of Nina Solar white solid paper here, and we're going to go ahead and stamp this again. I'm using black VersaFine ink. It's getting harder to find the VersaFine ink. I'm seeing on websites and stuff. The Claire line by VersaFine is probably the exact same ink. I haven't used it, but I'm linking to it below because it's black ink, and it's probably it's pigment ink. It's pretty much the same thing. So I used clear embossing powder over this, and then I'm just going to cut this out in a rectangle and pop it up over the card base there, and that's going to be the end of this particular card. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Save the Crafty YouTuber video hop again, just to remind you. You don't have to comment on everybody's video, but you do want to comment if you want to win some prizes, because we're doing giveaways. I'm doing some different sets of 4 of the scrapbook.com inks that I really like, and there's going to be cash in the different sponsors are doing different prizes throughout the video hop as well. So definitely comment on videos. The more you comment, the more opportunity you have to win some of those prizes. I'm using moonstones as little drops of water over our flowers here. I have a jewel picker from Mardi that I am using to set these down with. I love my jewel pickers. I am very right-handed, but you will see in videos that I do this both ways. Sometimes I'll hold the picker in my left hand and do the glue with my right hand, and I've taught myself very well how to do this both-handedly. Now we're moving on to our final card here, and I am using several different things on this card. That's mostly die cutting on this card. There's no stamping. I don't have rainbow paper. I made my own. Ta-da! I used some Copic markers. I'll list the colors below, so if you wanted to replicate this, you can. And I just scribbled out a rainbow on some Nina Solar white cardstock here, and then I will die cut this. I did let it dry for a second before I actually die cut it, just to make sure that all the alcohol had evaporated from it. Used some washi tape to hold it down, made sure that it didn't move around. And I am using the Canyon Mini cover plate, the Skyscape mini cover plate in the Miss You Word die, along with the sketch plaid background stamp. I am doing stamping. I forgot I stamped the big background on this. This is a busy card. If you don't like busy, you won't like this card. It was way different for me as well. Usually I do pretty simple cards and don't do a lot of patterns and stuff on them, but something about this just really spoke to me, and I really do like this card. I'm using the Miss You die here, and I'm die cutting that 3 times, and then I'll use some liquid adhesive to stack that up. I use the cover plate, that's the rainbow. It doesn't look like it's anything right now. I've got to take my Spellbinders tool-in-one and pop out all the little pieces on the front of it and make a great big huge mess. I don't put you through that torture in a moment. I do want to show you though how to stack up a sentiment in case you've never done that before. It's really easy. All you have to do is start like in the middle is a good place to start here for a stacked up sentiment. Catherine Pooler, I don't know if you know this or not, has these stiff plastic boards that her background stamps are on. So I just leave it on there. I haven't peeled any of them off because it's great for it. I just inked up the stamp in Versamark ink, and I put my paper on top of it. Then I picked up the plastic panel itself and dropped the paper off of it so I didn't get my fingerprints on it. And now I'm going to sprinkle my embossing powder on here, and ta-da, it's done. I do really, really like those plastic backgrounds. To keep from burning my fingers, I have a cutting board. This is just from Kitchen Supplies, and I use it to heat set things on. I use it as a flat board. If I'm doing watercolor, I'll tape things down to it. It's really great and handy to have in my craft room for all these things that would hurt me otherwise, because I would burn my fingers holding that thing. All right, so I have my background piece here, and now I'm going to go ahead and put this together, pop all those little extra pieces out. Like I said, you're put glue on it. I don't turn anything over generally. When I glue my sentiments and stuff together, if I turn it over, then that's the one that's going to be on the top. And generally I work with the one that is most messed up. There's going to be one out of all the ones that you die cut that's going to have a bent edge on it or something. That's the one that goes on the bottom for me. So I always work from the bottom up, and the prettiest one goes on top. And that's just how I've trained myself to do it. So here I just wanted to show you a little bit of the magic here of popping these things out, and that rainbow just kind of comes to life, and there it is. Now we're going to put that Miss You on there, and I'm going to adhere everything down. I do pop up that center panel using some foam tape from scrapbook.com. I have great big huge clear acrylic blocks that you see there that I don't stamp with. The only thing I use them for is actually to adhere things down and hold it down while I'm doing something else. So I hope you have enjoyed this video and all of these different cards today. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to Jill Cameron Creations so you can see all of my fun videos and cards and random things. I have a free resource library that you can access over on my blog. I will link to that below. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer them. And if I don't know, I will find out. I will bug somebody else and find out for you. Thanks so much for joining me. Y'all have an amazing, amazing day, and head over to the next video.